again. Well, the jury has spoken, and apparently I'm the Hoovy's garage. F***ing hell. I'm the Hoovy's garage of computer parts. And there must be a lot of you out there that liked my style, because 37,000 views on that last video. I was not expecting it to do that well. And there were 3,800 of you, so about 10% of anyone who watched the video went and voted on the straw poll on my community tab. About 70% or more of the 3,800 people who voted or more supported me keeping the RTX 2080, the cheapest RTX 2080 Ti in North America that I had purchased. And now it is definitely officially the cheapest RTX 2080 Ti, because some things have changed. So yes, I'm going to keep this and we're going to take it apart. I have a reference 1080, or sorry, just 1080 cooler. I've had this because we did a water cooled build, anyways, had it ever since then for a long time. And then I do have the Arctic Accelero, just in case we got to go that route. I'm really hoping we could fix it as is. I'm hoping a thermal pad is missing. I've seen this before, where a card will shut off under normal operation. You open it up, thermal pads are missing, or the something's not mounted right. And in doing the research for this, we saw that there were other people having the same issue. I don't think that NVIDIA would allow an RTX 2080 Ti to be put in such a crappy chassis unless it actually worked. So I'm imagining we're going to be able to get this working to some degree today. So exciting stuff. I've got myself an RTX 2080 Ti. Thanks to everyone who watched the video, who emailed me and saying, no, don't sell or don't send it back. Don't send it back. There's a bunch of you that are, really smart-minded people that said send it back. But 70% of 3,800 people said I should keep it. So I'm keeping it. So here we are today. We are going to take this thing apart. And I've got another story for you here. There we go. This is the card, in case you're wondering. Lovely faux carbon fiber stickers on the fan there. There's a little bit of carbon fiber here, a little fiber there. It's not actually a bad looking card, except for, as we saw in the other video, it cracks itself. It's pretty damn cheap. So we're gonna fix it. I, not being a total idiot, messaged the seller, and I showed that in the video, right? And do we have to take it? We'll take off the back. We'll take it all off. He did get back to me, and I actually went and looked at his feedback and stuff. He had other Dell Alienware stuff in there. He's obviously some sort of a repair center for them, and has been selling off the inventory on the old warranty parts or something along those lines. We've all got our businesses, we all do our things, whatever. But he wanted to give me another one, and I said, what's going to stop the next one from, I've actually sent him a website showing my exact problem with someone that owns the Dell Alienware with the exact same problem with the GPU. So he said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, how about you give me some money back and I'll deal with it, because I've already done some testing and I'm kind of savvy and I know what I'm doing. I think I can fix the card, or I'll water cool it. And he jumped at that chance. And then I got someone email me saying I should actually ask for half my money back, which, with how quick he gave me the $300, I probably should have asked for more money. But neither here nor there. This ended up costing me $800 Canadian, which is about $620 USD. So for $620, less than the price of a, RTX 2070 Super, I got a 2080 Ti. All right, so this is some sort of metal. It's definitely some sort of brushed aluminum, but it has a plastic coating on the back of it, which I guess there are some connection points. We're definitely missing, already. We're missing one thermal pad that's going over on this side, down here. So that's a huge oversight right there. We've already got a thermal pad missing, so who knows what else is going to happen here. So we take it off like that. We see there's a thermal pad missing there, which leaves this area here with a bunch of transistors and stuff exposed to the painted metal there. I don't think that's what's causing any problems, but we definitely already have a missing thermal pad and one there too. So there's spots on the back plate. Cool that it has the back plate. Look at that beautiful green PCB. That is just lovely. Here we go. All right. Look at those thermal pads. Look at the thermal pads. They look like gum. They look really gross. It looks like they're all there though. So that's got me scared, but we're gonna keep going. There's also some half decent thermal paste, as far as I can tell, on the GPU. So, man, that's a huge die. That is a humongous die. That's crazy. So, we're not finding what I was hoping. I'm going to go ahead and do some research on this PCB. I want to know if it looks exactly like the reference PCB. It's just green. I would imagine it is a reference PCB, but I want to make sure that this isn't like completely different. That way, if I do want to buy a water block for it, it should match up to something that is already existing out there on the market. But so far, except for these thermal pads kind of look shitty, but they don't really, they should be doing their job. So I don't see what's exactly wrong here. I'm gonna make sure that this is a reference PCB. I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna get some other thermal pads I have lying around ready so that we can at least attempt to put this back together and figure out why it's shutting itself off with the cooler on it. Stay tuned, we'll figure this out. We'll get her all going in just a moment. The card reassembled here, it's installed, and all I did was change a few thermal pads, put thermal pads where a few weren't. Not sure if that's really even going to do anything. Some of them locations that I thought maybe needed them were on the back. Some of them were some other spots, but I did put some washers behind the 4 points that actually tighten the heat sink to the die. There was a lot of thermal paste in between there, and it kind of seemed thick. So it's leading me to believe there wasn't great contact with this actual GPU. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I guess we better just find out and see, did I make anything any better, or am I going to have to go this route? I don't know. We're going to see, because I got a good deal on this. We're at 600 and some bucks for an RTX 2080 Ti. Let's make it happen. At least it's booting up. That's a good thing. Okay, I'm so happy. I think we fixed it just by messing with thermal pads and junk. So I added some thermal pads. We increased the mounting pressure using 4 washers, which was really nice. It seems to be increasing the RPM as needed to keep the temperatures at 81 degrees. I can't tell, again, there's no VRM temperature or anything that's actually reported in any software, but as far as we can tell, 81 degrees, like that's not terribly hot. And then as far as the PCB on this, it's like a Founders Edition PCB, as far as I can tell, less a few things, but does it clock the same as a Founders Edition? I don't know, but when you go and look on NVIDIA's website, they say that the boost clock on this is 1545 megahertz, and we're up there near the boost clock, the overclocked boost clock of the Founders Edition with this card, even with this crappy cooler, staying at 1650 to 1700 megahertz at 3200 RPM. I think we fixed it. Now, we've done no overclocking or anything, but I mean, as that card sits with the blower fan on it, it's faster than this gigant. Oh man, I wish I had the 2080 Ti version of this. But that's pretty sweet. We fixed the card. I could turn around and sell this right now and not feel bad. It's passing a stress test. It's just hasn't shut itself off. Obviously something was up with the way it was mounted, or something with the previous. Like, I'm glad to see the blower can actually facilitate the heat this thing is generating. That had giant die on it. Oh my god. 99.7% passed! 99.7! What? We fixed it! Oh my god! I was expecting that not to be as good as 90. That's so damn cool. Oh my God, guys, I just scored myself a $620 RTX 2080 Ti. Now, it's the crappiest one out there. It really is. And it makes me want to see if this works. But at the same time, it's faster with this blower on it than any card I have. I mean, yeah, so, all right, so I'm happy as a pig in shit right now. So I paid $1,100 for this and wound up getting $300 of that back Canadian, leaving this at a $620 RTX 2080 Ti, or an $800 Canadian RTX 2080 Ti. That's an amazing deal, even if it is the crappiest version possible. Even it's the shittiest version of this card you could ever conceive of. And Asus and a few other MSI, few of the manufacturers actually sell. Asus calls it a turbo model, and pretty similar, cooler to this. So it's a thing that's out there. But I think this is probably the worst. I mean, just the sound it makes when you pick it up is like really, it's just terrible. But imagine this, I fixed it, and now I can sell it like this as an RTX 2080 Ti, and even if it's the cheapest one out there, I could sell it for $1,100 or $900, USD, and I could make money on it right now. And that's all I care about. Is I'll run some more tests, I'll make sure, but I run enough tests that I believe I fixed the thermal issue with this, and it's sellable as is, which is amazing, because I was pretty sure I'd be able to fix it with at least one of these, and I may do it just to overclock it further in the future or something like that. We'll save that for a different video. If you want to see the RTX 2080, see if the Acceleroid can actually fix it, because it wasn't really doing well as far as the 5700 XT was involved. I think this will actually make this thing better. We could test that at another date, but having that be the thermal solution on it, this would decrease the value of this. I'm fairly sure it would make it look not as good as just having a proper small cooler on it. And it's also very cumbersome to have these things on here, and I'm this person that moves graphics cards around all the time. I didn't want to have to deal with that giant thing on there. So how do you fix this? I'll be really quick and let's make this really simple. Metal washers. Little black metal washers is all it takes to fit. I don't have the dexterity. There we go. This is all that it takes, 4 of them. And I get these, AIOs come with them sometimes. They're little washers that you put behind the screws that you secure, like, the rads to your computer case with. So I took 4 of these, and there are 4 screws behind here that if you unscrew them, they have little, like springs on them, and those springs increase the mounting pressure as you screw this down. I believe the mounting pressure just wasn't good enough on this. The way the thermal paste had spread, it didn't really like push all out the sides. It looked like there was like a bit of a gap of thermal paste on the the GPU die, and that would make it so the thermal transfer is worse. It's not cooling with the air provided from the stock fan profile fast enough, and it shuts itself off. Now that I've increased that mounting pressure and essentially made it so it's efficient enough to work with the stock fan, it can ramp up in its own time, and it keeps the GPU and the VRM, because everything's tied in here, right? The VRM, the memory is all on a metal pad back here. That's why you see so many thermal pads. Now I did add some thermal pads to this. I added 2 in the back that were just completely missing. I don't think that would actually have been, the fix. I actually even put a few where there weren't any and replaced some of them in here. I don't know if that really did anything either. You can see in here, there's actually like a little piece of VRM that's now touching. It was beside a choke anyways, so it's now touching a black part of the the actual cooling plate behind here. So maybe some of that had to do with it, but I think most likely, if you want to fix this, if you're an Alienware Aurora guy and you're looking to fix your GPU instead of sending it back, which I would just say get one and keep asking for them until they work. Don't fix this yourself. You take out these springed 4 screws here, and I would recommend taking the whole card apart, cleaning the thermal paste off, and putting new stuff on. Although it did look like there was enough on there originally, and it was like good enough thermal paste that it shouldn't be a problem. You have to just do your due diligence, take the whole card apart, every single one of these, take the cooler off, clean the thermal paste with rubbing alcohol, 100%, 91%, whatever, isopropyl alcohol, and then put your own thermal paste back on, some high quality stuff like MX4 here. Resecure everything, but before you put those last 4 on, put black metal washers or some sort of painted metal washers underneath each one of those screws, and then tighten every screw very tight, but not like strip tight. You know, just go until it's stopped, and then put it back together, and hopefully that solves your issue. It'll increase the mounting pressure from the vapor chamber heat sink in there to the GPU, allowing a good enough thermal transfer that this crappy blower can keep her under control at 3,300 RPM on the fan. But we got her to work. So I'm at Watch Timmy Joe, Instagram and Twitter. I have an RTX 2080 Ti now. That's amazing. And I got it for 800 bucks Canadian. That's a really good deal. Even if it is a scrappy blower, let me know in the comments if you want to see the Accelerote on it, or if you want to see me buy a water block and try and overclock the ever living out of it with the chiller. I think that would be pretty fun. Maybe put the 9900K and this on the chiller and try and like get some records. Not that that'll do anything. There's LN2 people, you know, whatever. I could try the chiller on it. Or a big thing I wanted this for was I want to take the 9900K and the 2080 Ti and load up old games. Max Payne, Far Cry, Crisis, the original Crisis, Fear, like these old games, and see what today's fastest hardware can do FPS wise and like graphically in these old games like Skyrim and stuff like that. Make older games like as beautiful as possible, run them on the most high-end hardware, and see like just what kind of crazy FPS numbers we can get, but how good an old game can look. I was running Far Cry with this thing and the 9900K, and I was like at 4K getting like 400 FPS or 300 FPS, and it looked pretty good, and I thought this is an idea for a video. So let me know if you want to see some old games, maybe reel off some titles of what you want to see the 2080 Ti run with the 9900K, even though like I'm sure that it doesn't do well with the cores, but it's one of the fastest single cores processors out there, so it's got to work pretty good. And yeah, RTX 2080 Ti on a super deal. I feel like something's gonna go wrong now. I can't believe it was that easy of a fix. Anyways, let me know if you want to see this or the video games running really high settings thing. I'm just gonna cut my losses. I'm gonna put this back in the computer. I'm gonna play some video games because that should be really fun.